Grace and peace, Convergence Church. Pastor Brian here. On behalf of Pastor JD and Pastor Carl, we just wanted to let you guys know that we love you. Encouraged by all the many ways you've served the Lord Jesus, the testimony of how you've been sanctified through this last 4 months of us not being able to gather corporately. You guys have picked up the torch, ran with it in your missional communities and your DNAs, and just seen the Lord do some incredible work. So we're excited about that, but we're also excited for what's to come in this next season. Starting off this Sunday, July 19th, and for the foreseeable future, we will be able to gather. Obviously, there will be some things that will be a little bit different. So that's the kind of purpose of this video, is just to explain some of those details for you guys. But I want to remind you guys, first and foremost, that we have been given the great privilege to worship. The Bible says we shouldn't forsake the assembly. So we get to assemble. It's a privilege as we get to hear the gospel proclaimed through a sermon. We get to hear the gospel proclaimed through song, through prayers, through testimonies, and through the observance of the Lord's Supper. So we're really looking forward to doing that together. But here we go. So we're going to be meeting at the same place we were meeting pre-COVID-19, the Great Commission Center that's located at 1324 The Plaza. And we'll be meeting at the same time, 10 to 11:30. Now, there won't be any youth services or Sunday school services prior to the worship service at 10 a.m. We are limited basically to the sanctuary, the nursing mother's room, and the bathrooms. But we want all you guys to come. We want everyone to come back as you feel comfortable. And we also want you to invite your other friends. We know there's a lot of churches across the city who are doing online worship, who aren't meeting in person yet. So if you have friends that are, just looking for a place to commune with the Lord's people, man, bring them. And so I just want to give you guys some more details. In an effort to honor the recommendations of Metrolina Baptist, this is who we rent the space from, as well as to really consider the preferences of all the different families at Convergence Church, we've developed this plan that we hope will honor all those people involved. We wanted to create an environment where everyone would feel welcome to come and worship, and they would feel honored in how they desire and choose to worship. So one of the first things you'll notice, which will be largely different, is when you come up, there'll be a welcome table. And on the welcome table, you're going to see two things. One, you're going to see those little Lord's Supper communion cups that have the wafer and the juice in the cup. Grab those as you come in for whoever's going to be taking the Lord's Supper in your family. The second thing you'll see is a wristband. The wristbands will be yellow, red, and green. Those three colors will signify and identify to the rest of the church just kind of where you're at as far as how you are seeking to worship. The red wristbands, we identify these as the waivers. These are the people who are comfortable with being in the worship space, but you prefer to avoid any physical contact and prefer those who are not masked to maintain their distance. So you guys are the waivers, our folks with the red wristbands. The yellow wristbands, we're going to call you guys the elbow bumpers. These are the people who are comfortable with getting close, but want to limit the physical interaction with others. And then the green wristbands, these are the huggers. These are the people who are comfortable with just kind of getting up close and personal with others. And so you have the red wristbands, the yellow wristbands, and the green wristbands. So when you come in, grab the Lord's Supper cups for your family, and then grab a wristband for the adult-sized people in your family. We will be reusing these wristbands in the future, so you take them with you, and when you come back next week, make sure to keep it on. And also, they're going to have our logo on there, so you might as well just keep it on throughout the week. And so we realized that, there's a tendency in our minds to start to like separate and segregate people. Oh, those are the red people, yellow people, green people. And so I just want to remind us that we're not known by the color of our wristband, but we're known by the blood of Christ. I mean, the reality is we've all been, as God's people, we've all been redeemed through his blood. We've all been redeemed through his new covenant of grace. And so I don't want to allow this to be an opportunity where the red people look at the green people, or the yellow people look at the red people, or any of the people looking at other people like, what's wrong with them? Or our way is right. Why aren't they doing what we're doing? But just to say, hey, listen, we're all at different places. We're all part of one family. And we're going to consider each other more highly than ourselves. So don't allow this to be an opportunity to look down at your brother and sister, but an opportunity just to understand that, hey, that's just where they're at, right? So the wristbands aren't going to create division, but just create awareness of where people are at. So you got the red, yellow, green wristbands. There's a couple of due diligence points of action, some things you'll notice that are a little bit different about the Sunday worship. First, you'll notice that there'll be hand sanitizer stations. We've had hand sanitizer in the past, but there'll be a little bit more put out in the foyer and throughout the worship service. Also, just a point of emphasis here, if you don't feel comfortable coming, we will be streaming our services online. So we were doing that in the past. We're going to continue to do that. It'll be available on YouTube and Facebook. So you can still gather with us in worship from your living room. Also, just want to let you guys know the sanctuary will be sanitized before and after our service. Next, you'll notice that there'll be ushers. They will help guide you to your seat. They'll usher you to your seat. These will help really families keep distance, but also that they don't kind of get on top of each other or put one of the red families with a bunch of green families, but kind of keep people in accordance to where they desire to their preference. We're also recommending that families sit together. This has been a rule at Convergence for a long time, just to help us keep track of the kids, but just maintain your family in worship. Also, again, Lord's Supper will be administered from your seats, not from the Lord's Supper table, which we usually have. The nursing mother's room will be available. And so all nursing moms, you can go down to the nursing mother's room. There'll be a live stream there available for you. In accordance with just the regulation, masks are recommended, but they're not a requirement. So if you feel comfortable wearing a mask, wear one. If you don't. But again, don't allow the mask or the non-mask issue to become a point of I'm right and they're wrong and why aren't they doing what I'm doing. So again, we don't want to allow any of this stuff to divide us. So masks are recommended, but are not required. Now, in the past, historically with Christians, we say we're gonna be at the building no matter what, no matter who's sick or not. And we're saying, hey, listen, if you are showing symptoms of sickness or anyone in your family is showing symptoms of sickness, please don't allow that to be the thing of your badge of courage. So if you have a fever, coughing, sore throat, etc., we're just asking you to stay home. Just stay home and worship from your couch. Do family worship with us. Also, as a point of due diligence, we will have a touchless thermometer for screening. A trained medical professional, Carl Wood, will be standing by to take a 2-second temperature reading from your arm. This will give us just identify if someone has a fever, a medical grade fever, then we're just going to ask them to not come into the service. But we're just taking these things to try to create an environment where people can feel safe. Okay. All that to say, looking forward to meeting that day. I know that there's some things that are different. As the world is opening up, as stores are opening up, even movie theaters are opening up, the church is opening up. And obviously we've been meeting in each other's homes. We've seen great fruit from that, but we just want to encourage the entire body at Convergence to come and gather, but also to know that, man, this is different. And we know that, and we know that there's no perfect way to kind of facilitate. We've seen some churches who are in the red. They just close down. They say, we're gonna be closed down at the end of the year. We're not against them. And we've seen churches that are all in the green and say, we're gonna come together and there's gonna be no restrictions. And we're not against them, but we feel personally led to try to accommodate everybody, no matter where people are at. And so we just ask that you guys would consider this document, consider the things I've said in this video. If you have any questions, any concerns, any obstacles, or anything that might hinder you from coming that maybe we haven't addressed, and please reach out to myself, Pastor Carl, Pastor Jonathan. We want to consider each one of you. So we love you guys. So grateful for you. Looking forward to worshiping with you. And thank you for your prayers, for your patience with us over this season. And then one other reminder is directly following the service on July 19th, there'll be a fellowship picnic at Midwood Park. We're asking each family to bring your own lunch. We're not going to order pizzas, but just bring your own food, and let's spend some time in fellowship as you feel led, as you feel comfortable. So again, if you have any questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. Love you guys so much. So thankful for you. Looking forward to seeing you this Sunday. Grace and peace.